Montana elk adventure has finally begun.
I'm on top of the ridge over there.
Look at all the bulls down there, Willie. All I see is horns.
There he is, there he is, there he is.
The no trespassing sign was misposted by a half a mile.
See if we can't find him. The bull. It's a heck of a nice bull.
Well, our Montana elk adventure has finally begun. Chris and I drew the Missouri brakes. Last time we were up here, we were unsuccessful. So we've got a little redemption, and it took us 4 years to draw again. We've delayed the departure from Denver to come up here by a couple of days because they were supposed to get 2 inches of rain over the last 3 days. Last time we were up here, we got stuck in the gumbo.
We just gotta get to the top of this hill.
Does that mean we're about to blow up?
You don't understand. I mean, we are. No, it's not good at all.
Today's supposed to be drying out, and then the rest of the week looks just beautiful. I think we've done our best to try to time the weather right, and I can't wait to get back into the breaks. It's an awesome hunt. We're doing it on our own, public land, and whether we come away with a bull or 2 bulls or not, we're gonna have a bunch of opportunities.
As I followed Chris to camp, the muddy roads were making me nervous with thoughts of our last trip. However, getting stuck wasn't the problem this time.
If you had a Ford, wouldn't have this problem.
I don't know about that.
The buildup of mud broke the plastic liner in the wheel well.
Part of this platform.
Well, I got tools. We can make something work.
Night eyes.
Night eyes, gear ties.
Luckily, I had some gear ties in the truck for a quick fix so we could get back on the road.
Little mud.
Missouri Breaks mud does not taste very good.
Going anywhere?
No, I don't think it will.
After my quick fix, we finally made it to our spot and prepared for the next morning's hunt. Right off the bat, bulls were sounding off near the border of our hunting area.
I'm on top of the ridge over there. You can see the fence line real well up there on the ridge. Yeah. There's another bull going on the skyline. 2, 3 bulls on the skyline. So we see if we get down in this cut and just boogie.
After closing the distance, I stayed back to call while Chris moved closer. Despite our best efforts, the elk moved over the hill and out of sight. Reaching the ridgeline, we found out the elk had all moved onto private property.
Fudge.
The whole valley's just full of elk. Looks like Rocky Mountain National Park is what it looks like.
It sounds like it too.
Look at all the bulls down there, Willie. All I see is horns. And big horns.
It's a rut fest down there.
Unbelievable.
Yep. That sign says it all. When we left before dark and they just beat us, they know where they're safe.
Yep.
It's all of 7:45 and our morning hunt is over. Because all the elk are over here.
They're on this side of the fence, not on this side of the fence.
Yeah.
Oh.
There he is, there he is, there he is.
The no trespassing sign was misposted by a half a mile.
Pure Hunting is brought to you by Browning, the best there is, and by Thoroughgood, American manufacturer of job-fitted work and outdoor footwear since 1892. Hoyt, get serious, get Hoyt. Iota Outdoors, question every detail. Control the sound with custom-fit digital hearing protection from ESP, and these other fine companies. Chris and I are hunting elk in the Missouri Breaks of Montana, and while chasing a herd, we ran into a problem.
Look at all the bulls down there, Willie. All I see is horns.
Fudge.
Being forced to leave the elk safe and sound on the private property, we headed back to camp.
There he is, there he is, there he is. 10 minutes after coming back from our morning hunt, looked up and nice bull coming across the flat. Essentially from where we were, it can happen at any time. Ready? Ready. See if he stops. Damn, we should have let him get in here. I know, I was wondering what you were. Damn. Sorry, I thought you. I never even thought about get behind the ridge and then try to call him. No, we could have snuck up. That's a 38-yard shot right there. To the bottom of that draw. 41 yards to the bottom. Yep. Damn. Boy, when he popped up out of that canyon, I was like, holy cow, that's a nice bull. His left eye looked blue, like it was, like he couldn't see out of it.
Well, if he got an eye injury or if he said if he got wounded or hurt, he wasn't looking for love. He was definitely something else on his mind.
Pretty amazing. It's too bad. So we essentially have a 40 going this way.
After a disappointing morning, I decided to review my GPS tracks and discovered the fence and the property boundaries didn't match up.
Well, we got a new plan.
Well, thanks to Onyx Maps, unfortunately we didn't look at it this morning, but we stopped well before we had to.
Yeah, that no trespassing sign was misposted by a half a mile.
Those elk were a lot more approachable.
Yep.
And I did make a phone call to the BMA manager, showed him the GPS tracks where we were stopped, compared it to the map. And because we're not crossing any other property owners or anything else to get on that BLM, he said there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to. So,
Yes.
good lesson to keep your tracks on to show where you've been and where you stopped, and comparing it to the maps as well as the GPS. So, let's go see what we can do.
Yes. They're gonna be like, oh, look at those guys, they're back. They're standing up on top of the ridge. They can't come any down here.
What are they doing?
What are they doing? What do you mean? Oh, they just stuck us with an arrow. Harry got stuck with an arrow.
All around the shooting house.
Even with the ability for us to get closer, the elk were still too far off.
That's a real safe spot. Right where all the food is.
And they were too content to pay any attention to our calls.
That was an entertaining night, but we didn't have anything come close. Called 4 cows up to about 200 yards. That was about the extent of it. But there are a lot of elk in here.
A lot of elk in here we can't hunt.
Yeah. Why would they leave knowing what they got to come here with something that they're not sure of? We did make a bunch of cow calls and bugled some, but nothing came running in. I guess you don't sound sweet enough, Chris.
I guess not. I'm losing my touch.
Well, have you ever called, tried to pull one off 800 elk before?
Not 800.
See if we can't find it. Hey, Willie, the bull.
After hunting hard for 2 days, all the elk were staying firmly put on private land.
Not our single bugle where we can hunt. All right, well, let's pack up then and head over to Plan D.
With the private land holding all of the elk, Chris and I packed up camp and headed to a new location, hoping to find some elk we could actually hunt. We assumed there might be fewer elk, but hopefully more opportunities.
You want to set up and have me drop back a little bit? See if we can pull something up out of one of these two.
With no elk responding, we decided to try a blind setup. I stayed back to call for Chris while he worked ahead for a shot.
Oh, he's a beauty. Oh, it's a nice bull.
See him now. He's going up this rig. You'll see him. Come see him right now.
Oh, I see him all, yeah.
Big 6.
Yeah, I'd say it's at least 330, at least.
Looks like he's got a kicker off his right.
Yeah, he does.
But I heard him because he was down in the canyon. He was kind of faint.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I heard him. I'm like, oh.
He's a wise old bull. He didn't like that cow calls. He's a beaut, dude.
He was a big one.
See if we can't find him.
Seeing where the elk were headed, we moved around a couple of canyons to try and intercept them.
Let's go get him. Yeah.
We eventually found the cows, but not the bull.
There's 3 there and 4 there. Right. I don't know.
Hey, Willie. The bull. He's standing up now next to that cow.
With so many eyeballs, I stayed behind while Chris went in for the stalk.
Let's try to slip in quiet. Stick him. So far we got the wind. It's looking like we might have a great stalk opportunity here. Closest I got to that bull was 100 yards. He's a nice bull. I thought we were going to have him there in that creek bottom. Then they started moving up this hill. Probably just a couple minutes too late on the stalk. And then, of course, now the wind shifted. They're blowing out of here. Won't be the first stalk blown because of the wind. It won't be the last.
I had a bird's eye view of the whole thing. You got close. It was fun watching him, and I didn't know how long it was going to take you. And I had
You
no
were just
clue what
waiting
it was.
for
I was
the-
just waiting for the whack, and then watch him run off.
Man, we were in the river bottom, zip, 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 got there, and
he gave that first bugle, and like I said, he was inside 100 yards.
And you couldn't get any closer after that, huh?
Well, no, it was just hard because you were exposed in that river bottom, you know? And it
I
was
wondered.
Like, it's how far do you push it? Well, he's a nice one.
Mm-hmm. And he's still walking.
Yeah. Oh,
Crap.
I thought for a minute there, I really thought it was going to come together.
So did I. Well, had to be fun.
Yeah,
to
it
get
was
the
fun. Thank
adrenaline
you.
going.
Appreciate the opportunity.
You're done.
Thanks.
There's a bull. It's a heck of a nice bull.
Pure Hunting was brought to you by Browning Ammunition and by Browning Crossbows. Wilderness Athlete, the authority on outdoor performance. And by Fox Pro, high performance game calls. Browning Casual Sportswear, the best there is. And these other fine companies.
Be sure to check out Tenzing for their full line of packs.
From the backcountry for elk to the tree stand for whitetail, Tenzing is my pack of choice.
I travel a fair amount on some of my hunts.
And I trust Plano to keep my hunting equipment safe and protected while traveling on all of my hunts. Chris and I hunted hard for 5 days after a big bull with a small harem in Montana. We got close, but came up empty.
Drive safe.
All right, buddy.
Okay.
Okay, good luck.
It's fun.
On the last day, Chris had to leave early due to a prior commitment, but I decided to stay to give it one more shot and see if I could get close enough to kill that bull, or possibly another.
As hard as it is to believe, got a unsolicited bugle over here near a different patch of trees. So we're gonna go walk this ridge line and peek over, see if we can get a visual. There's a bull. It's across the valley. It's a long way up. It's a good bull. I don't know if that's the same one that we've been chasing or not. My gut would say yes. He's got the same frame. He's got the same bugle. This is brutal. I mean, it's so damn open. And the sun's on us. We only have to make it about 20 or 30 yards down into those trees. And even then, it's a long shot.
I set up my decoy to try and disguise my descent into the valley, where the trees would give me some cover.
He's still up there with the sunshine.
I made it down to the river bottom where I could close the distance without being seen by the bull.
We close the gap a bunch, I know. It's a heck of a nice bull. We need to drop back, gain a little elevation, and if we can keep a hill between us and then maybe start calling to him. I just can't see if he's there or not. Between the sun and I don't want to expose myself much. Oh, there he is. He ran down to his cow. Bedded right next to her, and they're both facing away. Probably within 100 yards. Assuming they're still there. Just want to get right on the edge. never did see his antlers as he ran off with them and all their rumps, but so close to about not even coming out today, and we've had a heck of an exciting morning. It's a heck of a nice bull. But not exciting enough. I was convinced I was gonna kill that bull.
Anyone who has hunted public land knows how difficult it can be. When the animals take refuge on the private ranches,
That sign says it all. We left before dark and they just beat us. They know where they're safe.
it makes hunting those smaller groups of animals left on the public lands very challenging. In the end, Chris and I still had our opportunities. And we still had fun.
Okay, good luck.
It's fun.
Yeah, good hunt.
All right.
Wish we could have got her done.
I wasn't for lack of trying.
No, it wasn't.
While the odds are against the public land hunter, the rewards are sweeter. I'll just have to wait a bit longer to get over this misery in the Missouri breaks.
I guess that culminates a fun, challenging, very frustrating Missouri breaks hunt.